Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. You know what? Screw the infrastructure bill. Bitcoin shrugs it off. Bitcoin is still on its way up. But tonight I do want to give you guys an update on what has happened with this infrastructure bill amendment or many amendments. What was the final decision? Is this the end? Is there more to worry about? I mean, it's very confusing, guys. Very confusing, but to sum up, we have one senator that really threw a wrench in everything due to something else that has nothing to do with crypto. Unfortunately, this is how U.S. politics is. So let's take a look at it. Are there other promising news going on? Well, there sure is. So let's talk about it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams, most days, 11:30, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, although sometimes I'm late. That's why you want to hit that notification bell to get notified, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, articles, and guides on CryptosRUs.com. All right. I see a lot of people. Oops, that's not where I wanted to be. I see a lot of people on stream tonight. People are furious or people are excited. I don't know. But looking at Bitcoin, you know what? It's right at $46,000. So Bitcoin, we know, is not dictated just by the US. It's a world. It's controlled by the world. Okay. So sometimes, at least for some of us in the US, including myself, sometimes we think, yeah, everything runs is dictated by the US, but right now Bitcoin is certainly not looking like it. Bitcoin shrugged off this infrastructure bill and the vote. I mean, for a second there, it looked like it was going to come back down, right? Bitcoin was like 46.5 and it came down all the way down to about 44.8 and then boom, right back up, right? So Bitcoin is looking still pretty strong, and the whole market is still looking pretty darn strong. So have we retraced or have we gone down? Have we dipped? Not really. The more you zoom out, the more you realize, well, we're still on our way up, right? And right now we passed every single short-term indicator, short-term tops, and the next step is 50,000. I mean, there's really nothing stopping Bitcoin from reaching 50,000 at this point, despite what happened tonight. So, looking pretty good so far. But of course, let's talk about what happened with this. Okay, so I've been talking about this for quite some time. If you don't know anything about the infrastructure bill and how it relates to crypto and brokers, well, you haven't been watching the news for at least a week. So today we had kind of like a final vote to see whether or not the amendments that has been proposed to clarify what brokers really are and which brokers need to report to the IRS. Well, those amendments got shut down. So originally the infrastructure bill had this provision about requiring any brokers to report financial information and collect KYC information on any transactions over $10,000. But it's very, very vague language. What is a broker? So, of course, we had many senators that stepped in, Toomey, Luma, Sinema, Portman, and others. They joined together, Warner, they joined together and proposed new amendments to basically clarify that brokers are basically exchanges, but no one else. Miners, stakers, developers, wallet makers, pool runners, they're not. They should be excluded, right? So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of votes to get one of these amendments to be finalized. And it seems like things were going pretty darn good. Except we had one senator, Richard Shelby, that came out objecting. It was almost like this is going to be, honestly, crypto has nothing to do with this infrastructure bill. If you actually look at the infrastructure bill, It has nothing to do with crypto and really tax reporting of crypto, but somehow this was slid in the first place. But anyways, Richard Shelby decided to object voting on the amendments because he wanted $50 billion more for military spending. As if the U.S. doesn't spend enough on military. we spend more on military than all the other countries combined. That's how much we spend on military. But anyways, he wanted more. And that was shut down. It has nothing to do with crypto. Nothing at all. But because he didn't get that additional $50 billion, he decided to vote against the amendments, or at least to vote for the amendments to be passed in. And then there we have it. That was it. That was done. Done deal. So no more amendments as of right now. But is this the end? That's where it's really, really, really confusing. It's really confusing because according to this article, the overall infrastructure bill is set to commence or to be voted tomorrow, Tuesday. And then there's more opportunities to try to push in an amendment. So I thought today was like the final straw. There's no more opportunities to push anything in the Senate. But since the entire infrastructure bill is being voted tomorrow, apparently there is more opportunities. So even Senator Cynthia Lummis has been tweeting out a lot about crypto. And she's like, we're not going to give up. We're going to continue forward to try to fix up the digital asset language in this bill. So I don't know, tomorrow there could be something else that be done. If there's, more time to slide in an amendment or something like that. I don't know. This is beyond me. And even if there isn't, and let's just say this passes the Senate, this is supposed to be pushed back to the House, and then the House of Representatives will then look at it and agree upon it. And according to what I've been reading, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. This is not a done deal. It's not going to be rushed through. So, yeah. So there's another step there, right? So maybe this gets stopped in the House. Maybe this gets revised or amended in the House, which is kind of weird because, anyways, this is very complex. This is beyond my high school knowledge of how U.S. politics works. So, yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. It seems like there's just a whole lot of people that really doesn't understand crypto and what's about, how it's the future, and they really don't care. They just view this as like, I don't know, just something that's getting in their way from taking a vacation, right? So they just wanted to just ignore this and just push it aside. And, Senator Shelby's, his objection was not because he didn't want the amendments to happen. It's because he was trying to throw his weight around, trying to get, more money for the military. It had nothing to do with crypto at all. So I don't know. This whole thing is a little screwed up. But anyways, it does sound like we do have more opportunities to get this revised or amended with better language in terms of what a broker is, who actually needs to submit to the IRS, right? And let's just say worst case scenario, this does pass through. Okay, it passes the Senate, it passes the House, it becomes law. Okay, but like I said at the beginning, it's gonna suck for U.S. for any wallet makers, pool operators, developers. It's gonna suck being the U.S. if you're in crypto. But there's many countries outside of crypto, right? We know Bitcoin and crypto, non-sovereign, not locked into any one country. So is this gonna kill off Bitcoin and crypto? No, it won't. It just gonna make it life really hard if you're in the U.S. This is why people are saying this will halt innovation of blockchain and crypto in the U.S. if it passes as is. But it sounds like we still have time. So we'll see. I guess we will see what happens. Now, besides this, what else is there? Are there other good news? Well, yeah, there is. For those of you guys that are movie lovers, AMC says that it will accept Bitcoin as payment for movie tickets by year end. It just makes a whole lot of sense. At this point, why would you not accept Bitcoin as payment? Like, honestly, if you're a retailer, you're a company that accepts money for services, for goods, why not accept Bitcoin, right? And especially right now, Bitcoin, we know AMC, the whole GME, AMC, pumping that's going on with Robinhood. And we know Robinhood, millennials love crypto too, right? So you combine the two, it's a good synergy, I think. I think some may view that that's not the case, but yeah. So this would be a good thing. This would be a good thing. People are asking whether or not AMC will use AMP. Well, that's the wrong question. Whether they will be using Flexa. AMP is a collateral token, okay? It's meant to solve transaction times when you pay for something with Bitcoin or Ethereum or VeChain, okay? It's not meant to be used directly. So I think some people are getting confused on what AMP and Flexa really is. But anyways, I think this is a good move, and who knows? GameStop, it's been rumored they want to transition to NFTs. GameStop should accept Bitcoin. I mean, that just makes a whole lot of sense. And GameStop, honestly, should focus on NFTs and create their own marketplace. Think about it. They have all the games. They have all the games in their stores. Why would you not take the opportunity to create NFTs? It just makes, again, the synergies there. It makes a whole lot of sense. And again, with all the AMC GME drama and pumping and debt to the hedge funds, right? Why would you not join crypto? It just makes a whole lot of sense. A lot of synergies there, in my opinion. People are saying should adopt Dogecoin. Why not? If you accept crypto, you can accept anything. It doesn't have to be one. All right, so that's pretty positive news. Also, our friend Will Kilmet, I like to follow him. I don't know who Will is, but he provides good data, especially Glassnode data, since Glassnode is so ridiculously expensive. $800 a month. I haven't seen any other subscription that charges $800 a month. That's ludicrous. But anyways, sidetrack. If you look at this, illiquid supply versus liquid supply, right? Illiquid supply keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And why is this relevant? Well, illiquid supply shows how many people or entities or companies are taking Bitcoin out of the exchanges. They become illiquid. They're in a cold storage, cold wallet, custodian. And that number keeps going up and up and up and up with the blue line. And you can see with the green arrows, very obvious it's going up. And what happens when that happens? Well, the reserves on exchanges go down. And it's just a matter of supply and demand. When supply goes up, demand goes down. What happens to the price? It starts going up. This is why we're seeing things going up, right? Well, one of the reasons. It doesn't explain it completely. But this is one of the interesting metrics that does show there's a lot of buying going on behind the scenes. And, quite honestly, I think Bitcoin, I honestly thought that the infrastructure FUD would actually drive Bitcoin lower. But it is holding so damn strong right now. So damn strong. Just shows you we are definitely in the upswing. Just morning I talked about the second wave, right? I do believe we're in that second wave. I do believe that 50,000 is around the corner. We may stall a little bit. I do think that Bitcoin has come up a little bit too fast. We may stall out and consolidate or dip a little at some point. And that point could be at 50,000. I think 50,000 will be an important resistance to break. But you know what? Man, after 50,000, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot between 50 and 60,000. And, unfortunately, all the people that panic sold, the retail investors that came in and bought at top, panic sold because they didn't understand what they were buying into. Unfortunately, they're probably going to go back in after we break 50 and head to 60 again. So they're going to rebuy at highs, not lows. That's how it always is. But I do think that's around the corner. Even if not, even if we do take a little break here or at 50,000, right? It's still early. There's still 4 months left of this year, and things could definitely get crazy towards the last 2 months of this year and even beyond 2021, 2022, right? So I'm looking forward to that. And besides Bitcoin, overall market is still holding very well. So again, really surprised. I'm really surprised that this FUD from this the Senate vote didn't bring the market down. I mean, the market is just basically, I think it's higher than when I was streaming this morning. So that's how amazing it is. All right. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Besides, I have a new channel partner. And I've talked about them before. And those of you guys that are VeChain fans, you know I love VeChain. So I'm going to talk about and introduce Vimworld today. Vimworld is a digital realm that rewards you and connects your favorite characters. So the best way to think about Vimworld is it's an NFT game. And it's a collectible. It's a character that you could grow with you. So I'm sure many of you guys have heard of play to earn games like Axie Infinity, which recently hit like 1 billion in, I think in sales or volume, some astronomical number. And Axie Infinity has been very, very hot because they combine NFTs with gamification, right? And when you plus the two, and when things get viral, it could get very, very viral, very good. So Vimworld is the equivalent of that. It's built on the VeChain blockchain. So it's not riding on Ethereum or Polygon or anywhere else. It's on VeChain, which is what attracted me. But yeah, basically you have these characters called Vims, and you grow them, you feed them, you power them up. There's tiers. And basically every single one is attached to NFT. They're all different. And of course, as you level them up, they get more and more valuable as time goes on. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's what Vimworld is. It's a game with NFTs, but they want to go beyond that. In their project proposal, or aka like white paper, they also talk about going into IoT devices. Imagine attaching a Vim to an NFT chip or some kind of physical device so that you could actually attach something physical to virtual too. So that is also something they're looking at. Here's a limited edition Vim Arlanshin. And then, of course, they have their inventory, and take a look at, the marketplace. This is not a complete project. It is still a work in progress right now. So to give you a little history, I kind of gave you an overview, but those of you guys that are starting to do research, I started doing research. I got a little confused. When Vimworld first was announced, they were part of this company called 8 Hours, okay, which is basically you have another project called Block Party, and then also Vimworld. So there was like 2 companies under 8 Hour. And Block Party is also involved with games, but more like physical stuff, like coming out with like a giant tablet like this, right? But unfortunately, because of COVID, they couldn't produce all this, and they kind of just went under. So Vimworld kind of spun up by themselves as their own entity. And also, Vimworld's CEO now is a CEO of Cream, who happens to be a very important partner of VeChain. So they are very, very close. They work very close together. And this just explains what Vim is. I was like, what is Vim? Vim actually stands for Virtually Integrated Metadata. And of course, you just think of it, a Vim as a character. I mean, that's the best way to do it. There's tiers, and then you have to feed your Vims with VEED, which is the native token. And then they level up, and every single level requires more. So that's part of their token economics. And they already have a ton of advisors, very industry leading advisors. For example, here's Michael Katz, who actually worked at Mattel and other huge companies like Atari and others. So he has Sega too. So he has a plethora of experience. Here's another guy that worked on Hello Kitty, Line, Mitsubishi, Rei Haruoyama. And you have another guy who worked and co-created the multi-billion-dollar company Guitar Hero. Yeah, Kai Huang, who's also advisor of Vimworld. So you have some really powerhouse advisors to Vimworld. So there you go. That is Vimworld in a nutshell. So if you guys want to check them out, check out their URL in the description of this video, and I'm going to be covering a lot more of them going forward. All right, guys. Now, let's do some Q&A. All right. So scrolling up. Marshawn says we'll be in the 50s by this weekend. Hey, we could be in 50s by tomorrow. I mean, look at it. Bitcoin is not stopping. Bitcoin is strong. You know, the only disappointing thing, and I hate to rag on anyone, but if you go on Twitter, you see a lot of prominent crypto people talk about, hey, you know, go talk to your representative, try to do something about this bill. Everyone seems to be like, you know, throwing a lot of worry out there, trying to get people informed. The one person that really didn't do much is Michael Saylor. All he did was say, hey, Bitcoin, 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 right? And I know this is what he's going after. Not going after, but this is one of his theses, is that Bitcoin is easy to regulate. Everything else is hard, right? But I would have loved to see him join in on the action. So that's the one thing. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but everyone else that's prominent in the space has been talking about the infrastructure bill, except Michael. Luke, thank you. Great day for Harmony 1. Yes, Harmony is doing very well. 60 will become the new low. Remember, think of it that way. I think so. I think after we passed 60, we had to 70, 80, 90. That's how it's going to feel. Yeah, like virtual items. People are saying it's like a pet virtual item. Yeah, it's like Tamagotchi. It's not a new concept. I mean, it basically NFTs have basically taken what has existed, which is digital pet, and cryptodized it and made it NFTs with other functionalities, and you could battle and stuff like that, obviously with gamification. But yeah, I mean, it's the easiest way to think about it. Will BTC go up or down? You tell me. You tell me. I say it's up. I did talk about Omi when I introduced them the other day. And there's a lot more I'm going to talk about. I mean, these long-term partnerships, they're going to be monthly. So as there's more updates, I'm going to be talking about them. ACH... I did a newsletter this afternoon on ACL. So and I talked about them yesterday with DCA too. Alchemy Pay. They do actually look pretty legit. They do look pretty legit. They shot up way faster than I expected. So, but they have some very, very interesting things going for them. All right. I'm not a fan of UMA. Well, I'm not a fan. I'm just neutral. There's a lot of FUD around synthetic token creations, and all the projects that's involved with it. I'm kind of neutral on now because of it. Because we already saw the effects with Uniswap delisting all the synthetic tokens, right? Whether or not they're security, I don't know, but they're being delisted. So anything that's involved with synthetic token creations, I stay away from now. Holding WXT? What's WXT? Where X? I have no idea. I have no idea who they are. Are you holding them because you're asking because they pumped? Is that the only reason? I mean, this chart looks not that good. Why is this bringing me to a blog? I don't want a blog. So they're a payment company. Okay. Payments with rewards and several other DeFi stuff. Okay. And they're on, they have their apps already. Can't tell you much more than that right now. Show the starter portfolio. It's pretty good. Up 2,100. 2,100, not bad. 40% within the last 30 days. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And Bitcoin, you know, still about 48%, almost 49%. ETH has grown to 10%. And others are still hovering around, you know, last 7 days. Pretty good overall, except BPRO. I guess BPRO went down this week, but the last few weeks it has come up quite a bit. But other than that, the last 7 days have looked pretty good for most projects. Chainlink is weak for the last 7 days for some reason. Binance a little weak, Matic's a little weak, but everything else is double digits. Are people still chasing after Yearn Finance? I don't know. Not me. Not me. They got hacked one too many times, like 2 or 3 times. Do you think Cartesi move was a pump and dump? You know, people asked me. It was up like 100%. I looked at it. There was no news at all. Other than someone that you guys know created a video. That was the only thing I found. So I don't know. I think they did have exchange listing before, but I don't know if that would explain 100% pump. They were already on Coinbase already. So they're layer 2. I've always said it's a very crowded field. I don't know if it could stand out, but I mean, they certainly pumped up in a big way today. Watch your Hut 8 interview in June and bought in, sold today for a 70K profit. Wow. Congratulations, Mark. I'm glad to hear it. Can you explain why stablecoins stay 1-to-1 with the US dollar even though the value of the dollar goes down? That doesn't make any sense. The value of the dollar goes down compared to something else. But when compared to itself, it's still a dollar. A dollar will always be a dollar. Whether or not your buying power goes down is irrelevant. A dollar is a dollar. So stablecoins stay with the dollar because they're supposed to be backed by USD or backed by fiat or securities that's equivalent to USD. So I think you're a little confused. You think Coinbase could help Harmony reach $1 faster? Sure. Harmony has been onboarding a lot. They have been onboarding a lot of projects. They're doing all the right moves. I have no doubt they're going to go much higher in the future. Cody is a payment app. They work with Cardano. So I think they're okay. I think they're in a crowded field, but they're okay. Do you believe that reaches $1 as bull run? Maybe. 10x from here? I think it's a good possibility. Cal says, what happened with Chili's? Well, what happened to it? They're just up. I mean, last time I heard they onboarded the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they're getting the NBA teams, creating tokens, fan tokens. I don't know about anyone else. I haven't heard anything else. Scott says, this isn't a Shelby. This is not Shelby. Clearly, he was trying to insert a poison pill into the bill to blow the whole thing up. He was a no before and after. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more complex than that. Yes, I agree with you. But, you know, ultimately, we're going to pin it on someone, and it's him. All right. Alan, thank you. People are like, why is Chile pumping? There's a lot of projects pumping. It's not pumping, it's just recovering. Up 10, 20% these days is normal. Up 100-something% a day, that's a pump. And that's usually not normal. You got to be careful. But sometimes they stay. Hellcat, missed ya. Even though Chainlink is a bit weak right now, what do you make some of the things they announced at Smart Contract Summit? I have no idea what they announced, to be honest. I have no idea what they announced. So I can't tell you. I have to look into it. What do you think about BitTorrent? I'm just not a fan of BitTorrent. I'm not a fan of anything in the Tron ecosystem. Ethereum Classic, still waiting for them to come up with something to say, hey, this is our next plan. I mean, everything right now on the roadmap is to just put in more improvement protocols. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to come out with something equivalent to 1559 too and make it somewhat deflationary. Maybe. I don't know if they're going to move. They're probably not going to move to proof of stake. That just, I don't think they're going to do that. I think all the miners will probably move to Ethereum Classic afterwards, but I don't know what their grand plan is going forward. Maybe there is none. Maybe there just isn't. I don't even like politics. What would stop the CCP from doing to VeChain what it did to its other IPOs? That's an interesting question. I thought about it. I answered someone else that asked me that. The reason why I think they started going after the big tech companies in China is because they got too big and they became too influential and they started really diversifying themselves outside China. So they got really too big, so big that it threatened the CCP. So that's why they didn't shut them down. They just kind of hand slapped them and said, hey, don't mess with us. But, for VeChain, can it happen? Yes, but I think VeChain will have to be such a big powerhouse to be a global dominant player like some of these other guys like Alibaba and Tencent before we have to worry about that. I mean, I think that's a legit question, but right now, I don't see that. They're still a small potato in the grand scheme of things, but we definitely know they have ties into all these state-run companies, and they're doing very well. So hopefully that answers that. Do you think ACH is priced too high after a pump, or can they grow bigger? I definitely think they grow bigger. I mean, especially when you compare them to, say, AMP. They're like 10x lower. But you're right. I mean, it has pumped up quite a bit. I think the best move is to see if it stabilizes or it comes down a little bit and then buy that dip or afterwards. Cardano price leading up to I think it's going to go up. Yeah. Telehealth is a huge market. CEO of Solve trying to fund. Yes. Will the skyrocket the price? Who knows? Solve.care has been around for quite some time. I mean, they have one hospital signed up, hospital network, but whether or not getting into telehealth would really help them, I don't know. I don't know who SPC is. All right, last few questions. Why AMP down 2 cents? I don't know. Why is it raining today? What's the best way to minimize tax obligations of cashing out? Long-term gains at 20%. The best way is just not cash out. Then you don't have to worry about tax. If you don't sell, you don't have to pay. Otherwise, yeah, long-term capital gains, 20-25%, it might go up. If you hold it past 1 year, that's definitely better than selling it short-term. And then you can try to offset that with other things. With crypto, you could do wash trading. And there's other things that you can kind of make up for that. You have to ask your accountant, but you know, if you have losses in the stocks, it can offset that. And there's many other things you could do. So, not an accountant, so I can't tell you. Go ask the accountant. My friend will sell half his portfolio at 50K, and my advice is to take profits at least at last all-time high. Just a 10%. Who's right? There's no right or wrong. No one ever gets hurt taking profits, honestly. You lose out on potential gains, yes, but you don't go bankrupt from taking profits. So if he wants to be more conservative and take out half his portfolio at 50K and then take a little bit more off the top and going forward, sure, he may be right. Or maybe, you are right and you're maximizing by taking 10% off the top after 64,000 every time, right? I don't think there's right or wrong. I guess it's your risk tolerance. So there you go. All right, that is pretty much it. Yes. Caleb, Scrappy, you mentioned brokerage that can help you buy cryptos are hard to get. I think they're one of the sponsors, not anymore. Caleb and Brown, they're in Australia. Yeah, they could definitely help you with that and many other things. Caleb and Brown. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Infrastructure bill voting didn't go as planned, but it seems like we have more opportunities. The whole bill is going to be voted tomorrow. The senators are still going to try to find ways to throw in the amendments that will help define brokers. So, and even if it doesn't get passed through, we still have the House. There's still opportunities. But even if all this gets passed through, well, let's just keep in mind that crypto is worldwide. It's not just limited to the U.S. So it definitely will continue on. And I do think it will. And good things are coming. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Take care.